So again, without further ado, let's talk about how to
Crazy.
maximize profits during Black
Without
Friday,
further
Cyber.
ado, let's figure out how to, yeah, maximize our profits here in Black Friday. So the first thing that I think is super important to cover is the approach that we're taking, right? One thing I'm seeing all across the board is everyone is focusing on top line sales. And this is probably the most dangerous distraction that you can have as an e-com brand owner. And I'll tell you why. If you're going to be scaling based on your top line revenue, you do not have a focus on your profit, right? And that's unsustainable. For most of you out here, you're probably not funded enterprise companies, and you cannot acquire customers or do your customer acquisition at a loss. So the main thing when it comes to BFCM is first order profit. You want to make sure that you can acquire customers sustainably and profitably, right? That is the number one thing here. So that is the mindset that we're going to have going into this. Obviously, as you guys know, who are
It,
running traffic,
it was
uh,
converting at 30.
All right, Dan, go ahead. Sorry, Sam. Go ahead.
no, it's all good. I was saying, so traffic's costs are skyrocketing during this time, right? So Dan, I know I'm gonna give a quick intro to you here in a sec on the next bit. But any of you here who are brand owners, you know that now is the most competitive time when it comes to traffic. So you want to make sure that you acquire customers sustainably. And most brands are at a 10 to 15% profit margin, even some at 25% net margin. You simply cannot acquire customers at a loss. So everything going into Black Friday, forget what you've learned when it comes to top line. Make sure that your bottom line and your profit is, in check. So that's the first thing I'll say, right?
Welcome, Dan.
Hi, everyone.
What's up,
Say hello
Dan?
to everyone.
Great to have you,
Sorry
bud.
I'm late. Sorry I'm late.
No, you're good. Just
Oh,
literally right in time for all the intros, right? So, guys, again, right? Why should you listen to us? Who are we? I'll run through this slide very quickly. So, first things first, Matt, thank you so much for having us on here. We're proud partners at Checkout Champ. Matt is changing the game to allow to take their checkout process outside of, which is, super, super powerful, as well as a host of other things. So, Matt, thank you for having us on here. Second, I guess the reason I would say I'm an authority in some degree to talk about retention marketing is we run a retention agency, Revenue Labs, where we work with the top 1% Shopify brand owners, such as Dan right here himself, running Castleflex. We also have a software, which I'm going to run you guys through at the end of this, where we've basically tried to bottle what an agency does and make generative email creatives using AI at the click of a button. Run you through that afterwards. We've got Dan here himself from Castleflex, which is a multi seven-figure challenger brand. Dan scaled in 2 years incredibly fast, so super valuable to have on this call to ask any questions to from an operator perspective. And Dan and I also have a podcast called You Won't Find This in a Book. So you can check it out on YouTube. And this is where we interview DTC founders. And the whole angle of this was we wish we had certain mentors when we started. And we basically held nothing back and give a real unfiltered view into DTC and how to grow with Dan and all of our guests' different experiences. So hopefully that covers who we are and why you should listen to us. We're very much operating in the Shopify and the DTC space overall. So yeah, hopefully these insights give you some ideas. Are there any questions here, Matt, just before I dive in so far? Or
Nothing yet. I
all
think everyone's just enthralled by your wonderful introductions.
right. Amazing. All right. So the first thing is what this presentation, whatever you want to call it, is not about, right? I'm not gonna badger you with like flows and pop-ups and stuff like that because at this point, there's 10 days left. Ideally, you should have this stuff in place. So I'm gonna very quickly glaze over it. Ideally, you already have your BFCM offers in a pop-up to encourage people to sign up. For those of you who don't have your offer in your pop-up, it's probably the highest leverage thing you can do to increase your sign-up rate. So as you can see here, we've put the offer in the pop-up, probably one of the fastest and quickest things that you can do to, improve your sign-ups right here. And another massive thing, make sure that whatever offer you have in your pop-up is congruent to your welcome flow, your abandoned cart flow, and your browse flow. So you can see here in this example, we've taken our pop-up, set the offer, and we've also been congruent in our emails with Black Friday, Cyber Monday, right? So that is another thing, to mention here. So the next thing, let's understand the motive. Why are people buying in November and December, right? And it's not as obvious as what you might think, right? I've basically boiled it down to four different things. You have a cohort of people who are gifting, for their family, friends, etc. So this is where when you lead up, you do gift guides and, product spotlights. You show them what's available and how it pertains to gifting. The second thing is people want holiday savings. So essentially, they are self-indulgent to some degree, right? So these type of people are going to be motivated by offers. So over here, I would try to appeal to larger orders because during this time, a lot of people try to like stock up bulk for the future. So that's another core of people that you can aim for. Also, guys, by the way, I'm going to show you a whole bunch of examples in this as well. So stick around. There's loads of actual visual examples for you to see. So yeah, you can visualize exactly what I'm talking about here. The next cohort of person is people, who are getting ready for their new year resolutions. So look, in Dan's case, Dan sells a fitness product, right? There are many people during this time of year that are going to buy Dan's product because they want to go into the new year with certain resolutions, certain goals to improve their flexibility. So that's another big lever for people to buy. So people are thinking into the future. And finally, status. People want to make this year better than their last year. So you want to lean into language here about, being self-deserving and just language around making the next year better and this year better than the last. So, status-focused messaging. Cool. The next thing, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you hopefully are familiar with the value ladder here from Russell Brunson, but you want to understand your specific value ladder, right? So understand every business is inherently different. What you want to do is you want to map out your value ladder. So if I sell, like a hair product, on top of it, I might have like a hair wax. And on top of that, I might have a hair spray. And on top of that, I might have hair clips, right? Just as a arbitrary example here. So you want to basically you want to do a formula on how you're going to present these offers to hit your profit goals. So the first thing is you want to have a variety of things across the different days, these next 10 days specifically for Black Friday. So for example, you're going to have an education angle, you can have a gifting angle, a whole variety of different angles to spice things up. And more importantly, you want different offers based on where someone is in their buyer journey. So
And let me just mention, Sam, if I can interject,
sure.
the reason that we're doing this right now is in case any of you missed any of this, you could be like, oh shit, I forgot to add that one component to my flow that could potentially change everything. So that is why I think this next 10 days is so important.
100%. So if you're missing something here, even if it's like a little angle that I can add, I think, we've done our job here. I know it's 10 days left, but I'm hoping there's at least everyone can take away one thing here to add into their strategy right now to help maximize it, right? So with new customers, if you have a high lifetime value product, let's say you're doing skincare and your lifetime value is higher, you want to basically focus mainly on your conversion on your first order, because this is where people are in a buying mode. They're ready and willing to buy. They're in the market often to buy. They've got friends, family, whatever to buy, gifts for. You want to focus on converting them. If you have a low LTV product, then you need to be extremely prudent on first order profit. So the first cohort of people could potentially acquire at a loss if you know your LTV properly. When you talk about your LTV, make sure it's on your profit, not on your top line revenue, because a lot of people mess this one up. They think that their lifetime value is based on top line revenue, and that's why businesses essentially fail. Because if you're not profitable and you're calculating that on your lifetime value, this is pretty much a recipe for disaster. So make sure you calculate it on your profit, your lifetime value, right? Second, for your existing customers, you want to try to upsell complementary products. And you want to try to incentivize better deals on existing items. So let's say somebody's already purchased something, right? Maybe they can purchase something else from a gifting angle that can, boost your LTV. And you can basically focus on improving your lifetime value in this scope of time where people are like specifically in the market to buy, right? And for all customers, you want to push the high AOV bundles followed by downsells. So I'm going to show you exactly what I mean in a second, but you want to try to maximize the purchase to the highest possible average order value bundle product or, bundle of product. And then you want to have downsells that trickle down from that. So you have a certain chance to hit the high AOV. If someone doesn't buy, then, you go down that ladder. So how do you actually do this? What does this look like in practice? So this is my favorite bit here. Essentially, there's three ways to do this, right? You want tiered discounts, number one. And this is where you encourage bulk purchases and you offer discounts at different purchase levels. So if you purchase X amount, you get a discount. If you purchase Y amount, you get a discount, etc. Then you have minimum thresholds. So you want to drive higher sales by saying, hey, if you purchase X amount, then you get X offer off. And then finally, for brands like Dan, who don't position themselves as a discount brand and hardly ever, if ever, run discounts, you want to do what's called product bundling. So therefore, you still want to offer some form of value, but you want to do it via a bundle. So people end up spending more, having a higher average order value. That way, according to your unit economics, you can justify giving them an offer just for this moment in time. So I'm going to dive in with Dan. Daniel, anything to add there on that side?
No, that makes perfect sense. My company is we're not high lifetime value. We're not low lifetime value. We're sort of in the middle. So anyone that is sort of not feeling like they're high or low, I can speak to that middle area a little bit more.
Amazing. Cheers, Dan, for adding that. All right, let's jump into some actual tangible examples here, right? So you can see here an early teaser. You can gamify your Black Friday by basically sending an early teaser. You can see here we've kind of grayed out the product and you want to let people know when your BFCM event is basically starting. And then you want to ask them to mark it on their calendar, right? Here's an
I actually
example.
like that. Get a sneak peek.
Yeah, so you can play with this in all types of ways. You can have this go to a landing page where you could just have a bunch of blacked out items and then you can basically just register interest, where someone can register and whitelist. You can also have like SMS collection on that page as well. So naturally you're growing your SMS list at the same time, right? Then here's an example, obviously, of Dan's brand, Castleflex. So in this case, we are talking about actual product bundles. So you can see here with Dan, we've bundled together, the luxury wellness bundle. So you have hot cold pack luxury and the Castle Fit, which is the program that Dan has on how to use his products, and then so on and so forth. You can see down here a whole bunch of different bundles that we can have. So this is a high AOV bundle, which allows 20% off the first order. Then another angle is BOGO. And one thing to mention here, guys, every business is inherently different, right? The reason Dan does a BOGO is, like I mentioned before, he's not a discount brand, doesn't offer discounts except on a first purchase if you buy two. Therefore, this offer makes most sense for him. For this brand, Ease, as an example, what we did was we did buy one, get one free because they have a lot of stock. They want to clear certain levels of stock. So this is the offer that makes most sense for them. So you want to look under the hood and understand, according to your unit economics, your stock, your supply, what it is that you want to do. On the bundle side, I believe, Matt, Checkout Champs, you guys also have like a bundling tool, don't you, that does all the bundling as well?
We have a great bundling technology that's built into the platform where you can create preset bundles that customers can select, or they have the ability to select their own items for their own custom bundle,
Brilliant.
which is kind
Yeah,
of
I mean,
unique.
that's a game changer, especially when it comes to understanding your unit economics and how to actually build the bundle. So following that, some brands just do a site-wide offer. So they just have an offer that's site-wide that you just go in and buy without the codes. It's just purely on the site. Then here's another example. You have a bulk order discount. So in this case, there's a 3-month supply with 3 of these, and you do a bulk order and you get 30% off. So this is another example if this makes sense for your brand. Some other examples are product spotlights. So, you want to just highlight a product. A lot of the times with this brand, for example, Eczema Honey, they have a hero product and people don't even know that they sell shampoo and conditioner. So if you bundle these together and you offer them as an upsell, for example, that's another great way to basically get the sale. So this is an example of how it's done, right? Then another product spotlight, we have Dan's hot cold packs. So this is a non-toxic hot cold packs that Dan has, an example of a product spotlight. And I mentioned to you earlier about gifting. So here is a quick example of how we do gifting. Share the flex, feel the connection, transform solo stretching into social wellness with Castle Flex, the gift that brings friends closer while keeping bodies slimmer, right? So you want to have language around togetherness, around gifting, and why. Give people a reason, right? Bond over better movement, turns recovery into quality time. So, it's just girls night out with a healthy twist. This is based on cohort data that we have and Dan's customers, workout buddies recovering together, yoga groups leveling up their flexibility, book clubs addressing wellness to wine nights. So then a little testimonial here as well. And then I mentioned to you tiered discounts. So here's an example of, different tiered discounts that you could have. If you spend different amounts, you get certain amounts off. So again, based entirely on your strategy, guys, what it is that you do. But that's just a quick example of how we can get it done. Now, when it comes to sending strategies for your emails and your sending rules, right? There are 4 core principles that I've learned to simplify when it comes to BFCM. The first principle is you want to give your VIPs early access. Your VIPs are basically somebody who spent a threshold of a dollar amount with you. So let's say if you have a lower $50 AOV product, let's say spending $300 with you puts you in the threshold of being a VIP, or if someone has a certain purchase frequency. So in Dan's case, if somebody purchases, one of the luxury products that he has 3 times, that might make them a VIP. So you want to give your VIP customers early access. Remember, they've spent money with your brands. They've shown that they're loyal customers. They've put themselves in their place and they've shown it with their wallets. So you want to give them better treatment and give them early access to your VIP sale. So they guarantee stock because again, your VIPs are the ones that practically run your business, right? Second,
let me answer your question. So Dan, I'm sorry, Sam, there was
Sure.
someone asked, do we have any copywriting tips to make customers resonate or feel more emotional? So Sam's about to get to that with some subject lines and things of that nature. So hold tight. This is going to get good.
100%. So I actually used to be a copywriter, so I can actually answer that directly. So let me just answer that. So when it comes to appealing to someone's emotion, right? I think I read a book called Influencer Income by Jason Capital, and there was one specific philosophy in there that stuck with me the most, and it's called the 3 pillars of belief. There are 3 things that someone needs to internally believe to be convicted that your brand can solve their problem. And the way you achieve those 3 pillars of belief is through 3 forms of proof. So the first form is social proof, which is why a lot of testimonials are sprinkled across a lot of these email campaigns. Because the more, and even me as a marketer, when I'm in the market to buy something, maybe an education course, I know a lot of you guys do buy courses in education, etc. The copy still works on me when I see a whole bunch of testimonials. It's just, it's like tribal psychology, right? From way back in the day. We want to have approval from others on a very deep subconscious level so that we can then feel validated to purchase something. So number 1 is social proof. The second thing is status proof. So with Dan, for example, a lot of the emails that we do, Dan has a lot of athletes that sponsor his brand. So undefeated boxer DeMichael Harris, Harrison Bader from the New York Mets. It was Acuna Jr. at one point from the baseball side. So when you put status proof, what you're doing is you're elevating the status of the message you're sending, or you're elevating status of the messenger who's sending the message, right? So status proof is like, we've been in business for 20 years established, or X celebrity has used our brand, or, we have 20,000 happy customers, right? Not everyone is going to have sports stars using their thing, but you want to basically try to uncover what is a metric, a number, a person, or an angle that I can use that either elevates me as a brand or the message that I'm sending as, like the message itself, the email itself. And then finally, the most powerful form of proof is demonstrative proof. It's when you actually show your product in use. So for those of you who know Dr. Squatch, the soap brand, and have ever seen some of their ads, the best ad that they've ever done was going out onto the streets and making people smell their soap live and get a live reaction, because now you're demonstrating how good it smells. And people's live reaction is like, it shows you, how good it is. In Dan's case, what we've done for Dan is we've shown the videos from his Flex Lab, right? Sorry, CastleFit. So Dan's program is called CastleFit, which shows you how to use his product. So we can show some videos from that in some of our emails that show the product in use. So those are the 3 ways to kind of appeal to someone and cause conviction. I hope that kind of answered your question. Aside from that, the biggest tip I can give is if you go on Google, there is a Google Chrome extension called Google Discussions. I think this is the biggest hack that I've learned in email marketing and copywriting. If you download Google Discussions, it's a free Chrome tab. And then when you go on Google, at the top, you see web, images, news, all the different tabs at the top. It's going to add a tab that's called discussions. When you click that tab, it's going to give you every single forum ever posted on Google around the topic that you're searching for. So in Dan's case, if I'm searching for plantar fasciitis, which is like a foot problem that people have that they want to solve, if I go on Google and I type in plantar fasciitis and I hit discussions, I'm going to basically be in a room full of people who have plantar fasciitis. So I can basically read what they're talking about, use the language. Best tool for customer research. And Matt, you want to say
So
something?
Sam, if I can interject here. So I have a friend, Ian Stanley. He's a comedian, but he's also a product brand owner. I don't know, Dan, if you've ever heard of him, but
Oh yeah,
he
I was
invented, he had
avid
this awesome
customer of
water
his.
filter company. You're talking about demonstrative proof. He went into a truck stop with all these trucks, the truckers coming in, they're eating burritos while they're driving on the road. And
Yeah,
he's on a video standing there waiting. You hear the guy going to the bathroom and all the flushing and all this. And as soon as the guy comes out, big burly truck driver, he walks in and with his water filter fills it up, lets it filter through, pours it in a cup and drinks it. You can get really creative with the demonstrative proof where it's like, whoa, that's hilarious and awesome at the same time.
100%. Dan, you do demonstrative proof really well. What are your thoughts on kind of like half of your videos and content all about demonstration?
Yeah, so take the three things that Sam just mentioned and go to your landing page of your website. And do you feel that those three items that drive sales are conveyed properly on your website? So just to give you an example of the way we do it at Castleflex, and we redid it once Sam explained these three points to us. We said, okay, we need to make some changes. So number one is the first thing you're going to see on our website is somebody demonstrating our device and how it's so much better than straps and bands. Then you're going to see the reviews that we've collected over the last 3 years. And then you're going to see the athletes and celebrities that are vouching for it, that are not paid, that are authentically using it, either with reviews they've left or images of them using it. And so within one screen, all three of Sam's points are conveyed to that customer. And then that will increase your conversion rates because you get one first impression. And if they go to that landing page and they don't get any of those three things versus all three of those things, you're going to see a huge difference in how effective your sales are based on the visitors to checkout. And that's I know Sam is speaking about emails and retention, but my mind immediately goes to my landing page because that's to me more important than anything.
100%. That's where the conversion happens. The email's job is just to usher someone to the landing page. And the landing page is where someone makes a purchasing decision based on, what they read and what they're informed by. So for those who need to hear it again, social proof, status proof, and demonstrative proof. Those are the three forms of proof you want to weave into everything, which builds conviction in someone's mind on how to purchase,
I
right?
wrote all three into the chat. So as you were mentioning it,
Amazing.
so
I
yeah.
appreciate that. Appreciate
Yeah.
that.
And these are things that people can fix today before sales begin because it could increase your sales 20%. It can increase your conversion rates 10%. I mean, those little changes will then carry over throughout the rest of the year.
Correct. 100% done. All right. Awesome. So sending strategies. I mentioned VIP, early access. Your VIPs, you want to give them love. You want to make sure they get special service, special offers, and early access to your sales, right? That's number one. Number two, send to all. What I mean by this is normally in email marketing, I'm a massive advocate to make sure that you manage your sends. You don't want to send to everybody all the time. You want to manage your cohorts so your deliverability is good, right? The way this works is throughout the year, you want to make sure your deliverability is good so that you can basically throw all of that out the window and send it to everybody at this time of year because people are most receptive to offers and you want to get the most coverage you can. So forget your segments, forget all this stuff. Send it to your whole list as long as you've maintained a decent level of deliverability throughout the year. Maximize your coverage. This is the time for it. Everyone is doing this. It is accustomed. If you look at your inboxes, everything's Black Friday. You're not going to be like, oh, why is everyone spamming me? You're going to get hit with a whole bunch of promos this time of year. You're primed, right? Number three, volume. You want to make sure that you are sending many emails at this point in time. Again, this plays on the fact that people are already primed, expecting it, sorry. So you want to make sure that you do that. And a really cool strategy to get the most mileage out of your email creatives and creatives in general is you want to do resends. You can literally just resend the same email, change up the header, and send it off. So if you don't have a massive creative department that can, pump out a whole bunch of different things, you can literally just resend. It is the best way to get extra sales with the minimum effort possible. So if you don't have a massive creative team, you can do that. Also, someone asked about the copy side. So another thing I want to cover. I love text-based emails. I personally think that they are the most powerful thing that you can do, and especially when they come from a founder. So in this case, we work with a skincare brand. One of the text-based messages that we used is one to build anticipation. So tomorrow we're doing a little something to brighten up your week and help you discover that product you've been curious about. You know how it goes. Sometimes the best finds happen when you least expect them. If there's something you've been eyeing, tomorrow might be a good time to give it a try. Keep an eye out for our email in the morning. Until then. So again, you're building a level of anticipation. Then you want to go more for a deeper email. So in this case, we've got Dr. Nick Hall. We're talking here about, this is like an announcement email of the offer. So 15% off Verilief. There's language here about running out of stock. So we're using urgency and scarcity. You can just take a screenshot and read this if you want at some point. And then this is where you kind of announce the offer. So then you also have a final reminder. So I've put 2 final reminders here. So we're popping in with a friendly nudge. Your early VIP access is about to fly away. Claim 20% off site-wide before the price goes up tomorrow. Use Flowback 20. TikTok, once clock is 0, your early access will be gone, and we'll throw open the doors to everyone else. So this is an example of a VIP sequence towards the end of it, where the doors are closing for the VIPs, and then the doors will open for everybody else, which means stock will probably be strained at this point. So just an idea of how to do that. And then here's another, last example. It's your only chance to stay big this year. You can have a quick read of it. Just thought I'd put in another example here. So using text-based emails strategically, specifically ones that come from the founder, are very, very powerful because you're building a personal connection versus, having just promotional emails coming, etc. So good way to do it. And then, just an example. So early Black Friday and some reminders. So you can have like an early Black Friday sale. You can see here. So start 2025 glowing. I mentioned to you before, a lot of people have January goals. So you see how we weave that into the copy about future pacing, about what's going to happen in the new year. Because for the most part, they have one eye on the new year, right? Like this year is coming down to a close and people are looking for the new year over here. Yeah, so we also have here like other examples here, so Black Friday starts now, and then Black Friday, our biggest sale of the year, 20% off everything. So this is just another reminder email and different examples that you can use. And then for those of you who want to screenshot this, I've actually added some subject lines that we use. If you want to just maybe do a screen grab.
Hey, Sam, if I may,
Sure.
someone was saying, assuming there is a sale day, how many emails are ideal and how many weeks in advance or days in advance?
So assuming there is a sale, as in like you have a sale day, how many emails on that day should you be sending? Or
How many emails prior to the sale do you want to send? Do you want to send it daily? You want to send one every other day?
Sure. So in this specific case, we're 10 days away. I mean, hell, you could send it every day if you wanted to for the next 10 days, priming it up. It is not about how often you send. It is about having a reason to send. So for example, if you're giving someone a gift guide, that is a good angle for an email. You always want to be thinking in your mind, how can I give a value leading up to the sale day in order to extract the value in the sale period? So if you want to increase your volume of sends during this time, you want to give people a reason as to why you're sending emails. So, gift guides, different angles like holiday guide, share the love, all these different types of angles. If I had to put a stark number on it, I'd say a minimum of like 10 to 15, with the build up included. 5, I'd say around the sale day. So VIP, early access, sale day, maybe 2 or 3 on the sale day itself, like morning and then second chance, time is running out. Again, the overarching angle here is this is a time where you can increase your send volume. Everyone is, so don't be afraid to email more. Back to the point of volume. So hopefully that answers the question. Yeah, so you can screen grab some of these, and then Matt, I don't know if we can, but I actually have this, which is I think 101. Actually, it's 151 subject lines. We can distribute it to everybody just to make the life easier when it comes to
Sure.
subject lines. Here are some.
I also dropped a link as someone, Sabrina just asked how to create the emails and the designs. They look clean and professional. I dropped the link for Magicals. And we'll talk about
Oh,
that in a
thank you,
little
Matt.
bit. I'm going to drop it again. I'm going to drop all the links again.
I appreciate it. So just to be transparent, Magicals isn't
Yeah,
at that.
Sabrina, I agree with you. Those people that aren't here, they suck. They're not gonna make as much money as the rest of you guys that joined.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, Matt. But yeah, on the Magical side, our designs are not there just yet. So this is actually our agency. Yeah, this is what we do. So this is the most of our agency designs. When it comes to Magicals, it's a very good option for starting stores. We're just in our alpha phase right now, so hopefully very soon we will be changing the whole game when it comes to email. So if you are, just sign up on the email list on Magicals. Matt just put in the chat. And Matt, can we distribute this, please, to everybody? The email subject lines after this, so everyone can have access to it. That'd be great.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, awesome.
Who wants that? I see a show of hands. Who wants that?
Yeah,
There
whoever
we
wants
go.
it, happy
Keep
to
going.
send it over. Yeah, to you guys. It's just all of the subject lines. That's not it. Hold on. If I kind of just show you guys something real quick, I'll just unlock this for now. So this has 16 pages of a whole bunch of different plug and play subject lines with examples from all these different angles. So you have anxiety and relief subject lines, excitement and anticipation, curiosity and discovery, validation and affirmation. So all these different angles, FOMO and urgency. So you can use any of these throughout your entire email strategy whenever throughout the year. So
There
how
are
many minutes to move?
a lot of hands going up right now, Sam. So we'll get that up. One.
Yeah, it's a total pleasure. Love to send it over to you guys. All right, sweet. Then urgency, right? At this time, people are bombarded with offers. You want to give them a reason to choose you and choose you fast before they get swooped away by a competitor or someone else. 3 ways to improve your urgency. Number one is a tangible way through centric.com. It's free, and I think the paid plan is like $9. They do countdown timers. So you can literally add a countdown timer on your email. Very powerful. Second is language. Early access, order before we sell out. So basically, you want to make sure it's very clear that, hey, I don't have stock forever. It will sell out. Make sure that you purchase now, right? And then incentive. Prices will never be this low again. You want to give them an incentive to buy. So language is before we sell out, so make it very clear. And incentive is why should they buy? What is the incentive? Like we're never going to have prices this low again. If that's your strategy, or we're never going to do an offer like this again. If that's your strategy, like Dan's, where you're not doing a discount and it's not price driven. And yeah, I'm going to run you through a final checklist, right?
All right, I told you guys we were going to talk about the top 5 things you can do. There's actually 10. So
yeah. So top 10 things that you can do. So this is basically
I tricked you and made you think it was going to be easy. There's actually twice the amount.
twice the amount, 100%. All right, so let me run through this, right? If there's anything you take away, there's 10 days left in BFCM. This is the roadmap of what you need to do. Number one, update the pop-ups and make sure that they are congruent to the sale that you have. So any traffic that you're driving right now is probably going to be much higher in terms of CAC. You want to make sure that they sign up and you get that person in list. So update your pop-ups. Second, you want to align your flows to these pop-ups. So you want to make sure that, okay, I've got these flows lined up to the pop-up. I need to make sure that they make sense and are congruent with a pop-up. Number 3, you want to pre-tease. So again, like I said, send emails before Black Friday, guys. Make sure that you warm people up, let them know it's coming. Excite them, build up anticipation. And this is a great chance to get and build your email list, right? What I mean by this is in one of the emails, like, hey, prices, like we have very limited stock. If you want early access, sign up to the SMS list. So now you're building up your SMS list as well. And then bonus points is you can tell them to hit reply to improve your sender reputation, just to make sure you received it, something like that. So
Sam, for number 3, could you dovetail that into a pre-order campaign?
You could do pre-orders. I mean, yeah, but I would do that more for your VIPs because then pre-orders might you want to, because it's so tight and so close, you want to just make sure that people are primed and ready to buy at the time. So they can buy throughout, but yeah, I would stick to more like on the sale day versus a pre-order personally, right? Number 4, you got to make sure the emails are mobile optimized. Super important. I think especially this time, everyone's on their phone making purchases. Number 5, VIP love. So early access, certain discounts or offers for your VIP, super, super important. You got to show your VIPs love, guys. These are the people that have vouched for your brand and have shown that they're loyal, this is where you get customer advocacy, and this is where you get word of mouth, which is what I call shadow marketing. Give your VIPs love. They're the ones who are going to shout on the roofs about you, not, you know, a random first-time customer potentially. So make sure you give your VIPs a reason to be grateful and, you know, be certain that why they chose your brand. So that's that. Then we go to subscriptions. Now, if you're a subscription-based product, you got to be smart with subscriptions. Don't just spam people with Black Friday, Cyber Monday offers. You want to either give them complementary products to the subscription. So again, if you sell a hairspray, maybe a hair wax as a complementary product, and then maybe you want to even give them on the subscription a certain % off of next month's subscription as an offer, right? So you got to be smart with your subscriptions. Next, a holistic experience. So please do make sure that your pre-purchase and your post-purchase journey are Black Friday, Cyber Monday, you know, like weaved in. And you want to make sure that the whole customer journey from start to finish, from buy to purchase to after purchase and, you know, repurchase, is well weaved with Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and is completely aligned. So what do I mean by that? You want to maximize the playbook. So you want to sell to first-time customers twice and boost your LTV. So for example, in your post-purchase, you want to have an irresistible offer upsell on a second purchase. So how can you make somebody buy again with an irresistible offer of some kind right after they've purchased? Say, hey, you want to buy this for a friend? We'll give you like an irresistible offer. And they might be like, oh, damn, maybe I can gift it to Jack, you know, and then boom, your LTV off of the first purchase is already improved. So you've not only made back your CAC, you're profitable, but now you've added the LTV on that as well. So definitely good for unit economics. Again, use complementary products. So after they've purchased.
All right, so Sam, let's talk about why that's important for a minute.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you're driving cold traffic, your Facebook or Snapchat, TikTok to your offer page, whether it be your website or sales page, usually you're covering your customer acquisition cost on the individual purchase. When you have a solid upsell flow, that is where you're going to drive the bulk of your revenue.
Correct.
Dan, would you agree?
Yes, 100%. Also, you know, I look at this very differently than a lot of other brands, and that's something I just want to warn everybody is I don't like sales and I don't like holidays. And I don't even like weekends. So I'm a very contrarian brand owner. I don't want to get into the rat race of sales and discounts, and I don't like sending emails every day to my customers. I don't want to annoy them, and I don't want them to associate my brand with the word sale. So that's just me. And we can talk more about that after Sam's finished with his presentation, but I take a very different approach to this.
That's why I was excited to have Dan on, because everything I've said is for the most part for brands that do discounts. They have it weaved into their unit economics. And I really wanted Dan to actually talk about his entire positioning side, because Dan doesn't position himself with discounts, right? Dan,
let's call those traditional brands.
Traditional brands. Yeah, let's say traditional brands. And then yeah, Dan, I think, has a very different positioning, which is also something great to learn if someone wants to switch their positioning at some point. But yeah. So again, using complementary products. So you can say, hey, would you like to buy this complementary product after your purchase? This can drive a lot of mileage, because a lot of you, again, right, it's the CAC is going to be extremely high at this point in time, this point of the year. So you want to do what you can to make sure that you are profitable on the other side, and retention is one of the best ways to drive up that sale. And then again, timing is key. You can have a post-purchase follow-up 30 minutes later, and then also 2 to 3 hours later, a text-based reminder. And again, only during this time of year would I advocate doing this level of emails, because people are expecting it. And yeah, like literally everyone is going to do that in the inbox right now. It's just the way it is. And it is a fight for attention to some degree. Number 9, send it to everybody. You know, yeah, don't be scared when it comes to deliverability unless it's already tanked. But you want to send to everybody. And last thing here, before we dive into the Q&A, is all of the emails that you send, you're going to make sure that you have your email hierarchy dialed in. So you want to make sure that your offer is front and center very, very clearly, and your offer is the focus of the email, so someone knows exactly what they need to buy. And yeah, for those of you who want to take a screenshot, I'll leave this up here just so you can take a very quick screenshot for about 10 seconds. And then, Dan, I'd love to get your contrarian view, and we'll jump straight into
So
Q&A.
before we go over to Dan, let me just summarize a few things. So we talked about cold traffic, driving to sales sites, utilizing one-click upsells. Make sure that you have, like Checkout Champ has a pure one-click upsell, add to the initial purchase with downsell flows that you can truly optimize with four-way split testing, so you can make sure that you're getting the most out of every buyer. Dan had mentioned single product sales pages. Many of you have a store with several products within your brand. What we have found is when you're driving cold traffic to an e-commerce storefront, your conversion rate is going to be quite a bit lower. Where if you're taking those top selling products and creating single product sales pages for your targeted advertising through your channels, whether it be Facebook, again, TikTok, Snapchat, all those platforms, you're going to experience a much higher conversion rate, especially with a controlled upsell flow to those products. Now, if you're running an e-commerce store and you're building a one-click upsell, let's say you have 5, 6, 7 products, however long you want to make it, within our platform, and not to keep promoting Checkout Champ, but there are other platforms that may have this. I don't know. I don't really care. But what our system will do is look at the products that you put in your original cart and make product recommendations that are based on the items that you're interested in purchasing, rather than having a static upsell flow. It'll make recommendations based on what you've purchased, and you can actually cascade it from highest price to lowest price, going all the way to the thank you page. So those are a couple of things you can do. The one thing, Sam, that I think we should touch on is your abandoned cart sequences.
Mm-hmm.
People are coming in. Is there something unique that you're doing at this time of year to optimize those abandoned carts? I saw on the previous page you're saying send within 30 minutes of someone leaving, whether it be an upsell.
Mm-hmm.
Would you do the same thing if it's an abandoned cart?
So the way we normally do abandoned carts is we do a lot of testing before Black Friday, Cyber Monday to optimize the time. In the last 10 days here, in my opinion, the best thing you can do is be as congruent as possible to your Black Friday, Cyber Monday offer. I think a lot of the abandoned cart real optimization starts way before the 10-day mark. So at this point, the only realistic or tangible advice that I can give on abandoned cart is just make sure that it's congruent to any offer that you're essentially running at that point in time. So
Great.
yeah, I mean, it's 10 days out. You don't want to make, real drastic changes to your funnel right now. What you want to do is just add little bits and optimize where you can. That's the best thing that you can do,
Dan, I'm anxious to hear your contrarian product mindset. Anything you'd like to share?
Yeah, I mean, so I want people to think about this from, this was very granular, but also look at this from, 100,000 feet up. When you're building your brand, if you've launched it or you're about to launch it, you need to decide before you launch it if you want to go my route or you want to go the traditional route. And so which route is best for you? If you're a brand that has patented devices or proprietary formulas, then my route is what I strongly recommend, so that you don't get into the rat race of holiday sale, because then you're just basically waiting until these holidays to get your sales, and your customers start to learn how you operate. Like Gil mentioned in the comments, that people do the same thing all the time. That's true, but they change the way that they do things for certain brands. Like, Prado's not doing a Christmas sale, so there's no point of waiting. If it's available and you want that, you get it. And that's just a very high level luxury example. But I only operate in the patented device stratosphere, and so I don't have competition. So the last thing that I want to do is start playing and start negotiating against myself. So it would be like I'm negotiating against myself if I did a sale, because I would then start training people in that JCPenney way, that mentality that I grew up on, which is, that JCPenney puts everything at 40% off eventually, so just wait till they do it. And then your sales just become really spastic. Whereas my customers over the last 3 years have learned that if something is in stock, just get it. You know, it's not worth hoping and praying that Dan's going to have a bad year and need to do a sale. They just know I'm not going to. So holidays are good for me, but I'm actually, my biggest days are actually the day or two after holidays, like Thanksgiving. The day after Thanksgiving is a big sale for me. I don't mean I put my products on sale. I don't. But everyone is in the living room, crazy Uncle Eddie is in there showing everybody his favorite back stretcher. And then 35 people leave that house being like, the food sucked, but that was a really cool device. Let me buy that. And so those end up being my best days, or like the days after Christmas, the days after Thanksgiving. And that's something that I'm really proud about. I get sort of nauseous when I see a brand hit me up with sales all the time. It's just, to me, you're saying like, we're not worth what we're charging. And so there has to be a balance. I get it. If you're not in my category and you're doing something that has a lot of competition, I totally understand why you would need to go that route. But just be careful with all the selling. You don't want to look like a car salesman. You really want someone to feel like they're getting something that's special and unique and productive for them, or saving them money, meaning it either brings them enjoyment or it saves them money, or both. And I wish that sales were a smaller part of the way that people operate their brands.
Do you feel that sales, when you're doing them frequently, it devalues your brand?
100%.
That's my opinion is yes. And
Okay.
that's just the way that I was raised in the fashion industry, and I couldn't stand it when we had no sales except for on sale days. And I was like, well, what about the other 360 days of the year? And you just can't run a business like that. And it starts to really cut into your margins. So Sabrina mentioned in the chat, so then what do you do? Well, it's not a one simple answer question. And that's why Sam and I started the podcast, so that we can show people how we do it. But the number one I would say is make sure that your product that you're selling is needed in the first place. Meaning, don't just go into business and be an entrepreneur just because you want to be an entrepreneur. You better have a problem that you're solving, and your product better be valuable to people, or you're just going to lose when it comes to the sale game and the price game. We don't want to be a part of that business. That's not the kind of business that we're going for.
So you mentioned earlier, Sam, or I'm sorry, Dan, buy it when it's in stock. Do you, under that premise, do you ever do countdowns where it's like only 90 left, only 89 left, only 70 left? Do you count it down?
Yeah, so we're just now launching limited editions. So limited editions is a great way to get people to come back, repeat customers. And like Sam said, we'll always offer it to the VIP customers first. So if they have spent more than, let's say, $400 or $500 in the last 3 years, then they get an email or a text saying, here's the link to this limited edition drop. Right now we're doing like a limited edition gold Castle Flex. There's only 500 that we've made. If you can actually get it, then get it. Meaning, forget about price. It's $30 more than everything else on our site, but you're going to have something that pretty much nobody you know is going to have. And so we really, to answer your question, we do that. We do the limited editions or the countdowns, or there's only X amount left. That's a great way to create that sense of urgency, since we are not doing sales.
Wonderful.
Also, one thing to note, Matt, there is a nuance to sales. If you're, this is what I call the barometer. If you're doing a sale because you need sales, that is the biggest red flag, and you're going to go down
100%. 100%.
Sales spiral of doom,
companies.
right?
It sinks companies 100%.
It will sink your company. And the best brands who do discounts are discounts that are baked into their margins in order to compete. That's a very different story, right? If you're a brand that's selling a nice to have product, you're not like Dan, who has a patented product you can't get anywhere else. Let's say you're selling a skincare brand and there's like a million other skincares. You've got somewhat of an edge, but in order to compete, you've baked in discounts into your margin. That makes sense, right? Whereas if you're a retailer, everyone around is doing discounts. You have to do that to compete. The only time it's very dangerous is if you're like, oh my God, I need sales. I'm going to reduce this by 20% so I get some sales. This is a spiral of doom, because you're going to reach a point where you need to turn that around, and then your buyer's already trained. So that is a dangerous rabbit hole to go down. One thing I would say though, Dan and I have a podcast called You Won't Find This in a Book. I put it here on YouTube. Over here, we actually invite some of the top level DTC founders. Matt, we have an episode with Matt coming up as well, which is really awesome next week that we're going to be recording. Matt, pumped to have you on there. But yeah, we want to kind of go behind the scenes on brand owners' journeys. Dan and I, when we kind of got started in business, we kind of wish that somebody would just break apart a DTC brand and really show what it looks like behind the scenes, numbers and all, how we think about things, how Dan thinks about things. And, our esteemed guests are also very high level DTC founders. So we want it to be a gold mine where someone can go and get a real roadmap on every area on how to build business, from, creatives to acquisition to retention to CRO to, like some of these hidden methodologies, like the three pillars of belief, all of these different type of things. So stuff that you look at and you can leave with a tangible thing. And Matt, do I have a second to kind of show Magicals and what we've got going on?
You do. So in the chat while Sam's getting to this, I dropped in the software for Magicals that he's about to show, the link for that, the link to Sam's agency, Revenue Labs, and the link to the podcast. I also dropped the link to the Checkout Champ YouTube channel where this is going to be available for replay in probably an hour or so whenever I get the video done.
Amazing.
So it's in there, fellas and folks and ladies.
And Matt, I'm going to
So
send you the
grab those.
downloadable subject line PDF for everybody to have.
Sure.
But real quick, guys, just to show you what's coming. This is Magicals. It's a software we're creating specifically for email design. So if I show you this, Bloomer, let's say, Black Friday email offering. I know Dan doesn't like discounts, but let's just say for the sake of it, 10% off. Let's say the Sage. Yeah, let's say the Sage, right? Or you know what? Let's go for the Kai Glass. All right, cool. So you can see it populates Black Friday, Kai Glass. I'm going to add 2 more products here. This is kind of like a behind the scenes here, guys. I'm giving you. This isn't actually live publicly yet. We are unlisted on the page at the moment, but just to show you what we're building, we're trying to build something that can generate emails in seconds so that you can literally export it directly onto Klaviyo and you can get your email sent out, without copy, without design. So yeah, just to give you an example, kind of whips up an email in seconds. We're obviously improving this significantly right now. But just to give you an example of what is being built in the space, and then you can have all of your designs kind of saved over here. See some other different ideas that we've got here going. So yeah, just wanted to show you guys behind the scenes.
So guys, Sam's so close to it, so he's just forgetting to mention that his software. Once you go on Shopify and you add his software, I know it's not fully ready yet, but I've been one of the brands doing the beta testing for him. It will learn your entire website, and so when he was typing in other products to add, it's going to pull all the products on your site already that you want it to pull, and you will also have the ability to say, don't pull from the replaceable cork handles for Castleflex. We don't want that in an email. That's for, when somebody's dog eats their cork handles. So let's just remove that so that this Magicals doesn't pull from it. And so you're always basically getting very relevant email options. The only other thing I would just mention to people when, they're creating emails or text messages, Dan, you can hear the way that Sam speaks. He was a copywriter. That was his job. The way he speaks and the way he writes is beautiful. Not all of us have that gift. I definitely do not have that gift. So one of the things that a lot of people, the mistake that they're making is they're relying on AI to come up with things for them. I promise you that your subconscious knows when it's AI or when it's real. And it could be as simple as you getting a text message or a push notification from one of your apps, and it just sounds like AI and you just delete it. Versus if I send a text message to my clients as if the way I would send a text message to a friend about something cool that I found. You gotta know the difference. And it's really important that you don't get sort of swept away by this whole AI craze, because it's just like when you're launching the product shoots and the content for your brand. If it's too contrived and it's in a fancy studio with a fancy videographer, people will just turn off. That's why you noticed Theragun canceled all their ads that were professionally done and went to user-generated content. That happened last year. It's old news, but I'm just explaining to you why they're doing that. They're not getting cheap. They're just realizing it's not working.
100%.
So I agree with you 100% on the AI. You can tell it reads robotic. It truly reads robotic. UGC, that's another thing I want to mention to you folks. Do not be afraid to ask your customers for video testimonials. That is going to be your number one sales tool.
One of
Definitely.
the most powerful things you can do is even an email ask for UGC via email for some form of incentive or reward. It's a fast way to fuel your creative strategy on the front end as well. Use email as a tool to fuel your front end activities, zero party data, all that good stuff that we spoke about. But yeah, so this is what we have. Hopefully it'll be a good option to start off with for brands that are just kind of like entering into the ecom world, maybe getting an agency might not be the best value for money at that point in time. But you don't neglect a channel as important as email. And yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to share.
Absolutely.
Amazing, guys. Well, Matt, I just want to say thank you so much for having Dan and I on. We're super pumped to have you on the podcast, man. Hear your journey on how you built a band. Guys, Matt is a beast. I know, just like Luke Belmar is, I know a lot of you guys are from the Capital Cup side. Love watching Luke's videos. A lot of them popped up on my YouTube way back then. But a lot of you guys don't know Matt's story. Matt has built an incredible business in Checkout Champ, and we're super excited to uncover Matt's journey as a founder on the pod and kind of just share everything that he's kind of been through over the years. Like we've had some great chats over dinner, and I really want to bring that out and show you guys what it takes to build a company the way Matt and Dan have. So looking forward to it, guys.
Great.
I hope this was helpful. I hope you genuinely found value in it. If you do have any questions,
You guys should have all the links. If you don't have them, sorry. You'll be able to see this on the YouTube channel. Check out the podcast. Shameless plug. If you're not using Checkout Champ right now, you Capital Club folks, you need to hook it up to your storefront if you want to increase your lifetime value, your conversion rate, lifetime value, and AOV, and then couple it with what Sam does, and you'll grow your brand quick. Dan, I need a Castle Flex, buddy. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah. Anyone who sits at their desk needs Castle Flex. But I think what's really cool about the podcast is it's not about like work smart, not hard. It's not bullshit like that. And we're also not going to yell at you like Gary Vee does. It's really very like, here's my problem as an entrepreneur that owns a DTC business. How do I fix it? And we literally go into every single area of the business part by part, and we set it up like a library. So we've already recorded 10 episodes. We're releasing one every Monday. So the first one is already on there, and that answers the question that you guys just asked in the webinar chart of how do you know like how to choose the item to sell? How do you know what your next item should be? That type of thing is the first episode. But then we actually have the best people in tech stack come as guests, and we say, this is the problem I'm having with my site. How does your app actually help me? Like, why should I give your app a chance? So it's really interesting. We have a long wait list of tech stack owners that want to be on our podcast. And there's a reason for it, because we won't put you on unless we know that it works. And then we know it's going to bring you value. And we literally do screen shares and show everything, numbers, conversion rates. Like I have my triple whale up on the screen, and I literally will show you what happened before and after I added a certain technology to my site. And so I think between Sam being the host and me chiming in when I can, and whoever the special guest is, I think it's worth everyone just subscribing and learning.
100%.
Yep, wonderful. Well, I can't wait to be on it. I can't wait to see more episodes of it. And thank you both for joining me today. Hopefully everyone got a lot out of this. I know that I did. Everyone, I hope you have a great Black Friday, Cyber Monday. We're trying to give you as much information as we can to make that. That's why we do this. We want to arm you with the best information to help you succeed. So we'll talk to everyone soon. Everyone have a great day, and look to the YouTube channel. This will be up in probably an hour and a half. Thank you. Thanks, Dan. Thanks, Sam.
Thank you, Matt.
Thanks, everybody.
Take care, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Take care, everyone. Thanks for staying on, listening. Hope you guys found it good. Catch you in a bit.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers.